Ever had a song stuck in your head that you just can't shake? What if that song wasn't just annoying? What if it could control you, make you do things you'd never imagine? Jamie was just like you and me. A regular person, working a regular job, living a regular life. They weren't the type to believe in curses or weird stuff like that. But one night, everything changed. It was a Tuesday, and Jamie was driving home after a long shift at the diner. The roads were quiet, the kind of quiet that makes you feel like you're the only person left in the world. They flipped through the radio stations, trying to find something to keep them awake. That's when they heard it. A melody soft at first, but so catchy it hooked them right away. It was one of those tunes that digs into your brain and refuses to leave. Jamie didn't think much of it at the time. Just a song, right? But that song was about to turn their life into a nightmare. The next morning, Jamie woke up with the melody still playing in their head. It was stuck there, looping over and over, like a broken record. They tried to ignore it, but it was impossible. At work, they caught themselves humming it under their breath. And they weren't the only one. Sarah, the girl who worked the counter, was humming it too. So was Mike, the cook. Sarah, who was usually the sweetest person, snapped at a customer for no reason. Her eyes were glazed over like she wasn't really there. Mike, who never got angry, threw a pan across the kitchen when someone asked him a simple question. And all the while they were humming that same tune. Jamie tried to shake it off, but the song wouldn't leave their mind. It was like it was burrowing deeper, taking root. That night, they saw something on the news that made their blood run cold. There was a report about a sudden spike in violent incidents across the city. Jamie's heart raced as they recognized the description. It was the same song. Jamie couldn't sleep that night. They lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, the melody looping endlessly in their head. Every time they closed their eyes, they saw flashes of violence. People screaming, blood on the streets, chaos everywhere. It felt like the song was whispering to them, urging them to do something terrible. They got up and paced around their apartment, trying to drown out the tune with music, TV, anything. But nothing worked. The next day, Jamie decided to dig deeper. They needed to know where this song came from and why it was affecting people like this. They started by searching online, typing in keywords like catchy song violence and melody causing aggression. At first, they found nothing useful, just random articles about music and mood. But then, buried in a forum for conspiracy theories, they found a thread that made their skin crawl. Someone had posted about a Parasite Song, a melody designed to infect people's minds and turn them into violent puppets. Jamie's hand shook as they read the comments. People were sharing stories of loved ones who had started humming the song and then turned violent. One person said their brother had attacked them with a knife, humming the whole time. Another said their best friend had jumped off a bridge, smiling and humming as they fell. Jamie felt sick. Was this real? Or was it just a bunch of internet crazies making stuff up? But deep down, they knew it was true. They could feel it. The song was inside them, and it was getting stronger. They tried to stop humming it, but it was like trying to hold their breath forever. Eventually, they'd slip, and the melody would come out. Each time it did, they felt a surge of anger, a need to lash out. They'd catch themselves gripping the edge of the table too hard or clenching their fists until their nails dug into their palms. It was like the song was feeding on their emotions, growing more powerful with every hum. Jamie decided to go to the source. They remembered the radio station they'd been listening to when they first heard the song. It was a small local station, the kind that played indie music and obscure tracks. Maybe someone there knew something about the song. They drove to the station, the melody still looping in their head, louder now, insistent. When they arrived, the building was eerily quiet. The lights were.
Hello, is anyone here?
No answer. They walked down the hallway, past empty studios, until they reached the broadcasting room. The door was ajar, and they could hear something, a faint hum, almost like static, but with a rhythm to it. They pushed the door open and froze. The DJ was slumped over the console, his headphones still on, but he wasn't moving. Jamie stepped closer, their heart pounding, and saw that his eyes were wide open, staring blankly at the ceiling. His mouth was slightly open, and from it came a soft, steady hum. The same melody. Jamie backed away, horror washing over them. They turned to run, but as they did, they heard it. More humming coming from the other rooms. They glanced into the offices and saw them. The station staff all sitting at their desks, humming in unison, their eyes empty, their faces slack. It was like they were in a trance, controlled by the song. Jamie bolted for the exit, but as they reached the door, they felt it. A pull deep inside, urging them to stay, to join the hum. They fought it, clenching their teeth, and burst out into the street, gasping for air. Jamie knew they had to get away, far away, before the song took over completely. They jumped into their car and sped out of the city, heading for the countryside, where there were fewer people, fewer radios, fewer chances for the song to spread. But even as they drove, they could feel it clawing at their mind, trying to break through. They turned on the car radio, hoping to drown it out with something else, but every station was playing the same melody. It was everywhere. They slammed the radio off and gripped the steering wheel, their knuckles white. The road stretched out before them, empty and dark. For a while, it was just them and the hum of the engine. But then they heard it, a soft hum, coming from their own throat. They hadn't even realized they were doing it. Panic surged through them, and they slapped themselves hard across the face, trying to snap out of it. The hum stopped, but the urge was still there, stronger than ever. Hours passed, and Jamie found themselves in a small, deserted town. They pulled into a gas station, hoping to find someone, anyone, who wasn't infected. But the place was empty. The lights flickered, and the only sound was the wind whistling through the pumps. Jamie stepped out of the car, their legs shaking, and walked toward the convenience store. Inside, the fluorescent lights buzzed, casting a sickly glow over the shelves. They grabbed a bottle of water and a candy bar, trying to act normal, but their hands were trembling. As they approached the counter, they saw the cashier, a middle-aged man with a blank expression, humming softly under his breath. Jamie froze, their hearts sinking. The man looked up at them, his eyes dull, and smiled.
Nice night, isn't it?
Then he started humming again, louder this time. Jamie backed away, dropping the water and candy. They turned to run, but the door slammed shut behind them. They spun around and saw the cashier standing there, still humming, his smile widening into something grotesque.
You can't leave. The song wants you to stay.
Jamie's mind raced. They had to get out, but the door wouldn't budge. The cashier stepped closer, his hum growing louder, and Jamie felt it. The song rising in their own throat, unstoppable. They tried to hold it back, but it burst out, a loud, uncontrollable hum. Their vision blurred. and they saw the cashier's eyes light up with a strange, eerie glow. Suddenly, the room filled with people. Customers, workers, all of them humming in unison. They surrounded Jamie, their faces blank, their eyes empty. Jamie's hum joined theirs, and they felt a wave of rage wash over them. They wanted to hurt someone, anyone. Their hand reached for a nearby shelf, grabbing a glass bottle. They raised it, ready to smash it over the cashier's head, but at the last second, they stopped. A tiny voice inside them screamed, "This isn't you." With every ounce of strength, Jamie dropped the bottle and shoved through the crowd, their hum faltering. The people didn't try to stop them. They just kept humming, watching with those dead eyes. Jamie burst through the door and ran to their car, slamming the gas pedal and peeling out of the gas station. They drove for miles, the hum still buzzing in their ears, but they refused to let it out again. Jamie never stopped driving. They couldn't risk it. They knew that if they stopped, if they let the song take over, they'd become just like the others. A puppet, a slave to the melody. So they kept going, staying on the move, avoiding people, avoiding radios, avoiding anything that might trigger the hum. But deep down, they knew it was only a matter of time. The song was still there, lurking in the back of their mind, waiting for a moment of weakness. Sometimes late at night, when the road was dark and empty, Jamie would catch themselves humming softly. They'd stop, slap themselves awake, and keep driving. But each time it got harder to resist. They wondered how long they could hold out, how long before the song won. Maybe it was already too late. Maybe the song had already spread too far, infecting everyone, turning the world into a violent, humming nightmare. As for the rest of us, well, we can only hope that Jamie keeps fighting. Because if they don't, if they give in, the song might find its way to us next. So, the next time you hear a catchy tune on the radio, something that sticks in your head a little too easily, maybe think twice before you start humming along. You never know what it might be hiding.